Hi, I'm Doug Simon, and welcome to the video blog. I'm at the Reagan Communications Social Media Conference, and I'm here with Paul Vogelzang. Paul is Senior Vice President at Porter Novelli in Washington. Welcome to the video blog.
Hey, Doug, thanks very much. Good to meet you. Good to see you.
One of the things you spoke about in your presentation is netfluencers. What are they, and what can we do to reach them?
Netfluencers are really the 5% of the population that are online shopping. They're uploading photos to Flickr. They're participating in MySpace. They're reading blogs. Some of them are writing blogs. But really, it's the 5% of the group that influence the rest of the 95% of us. They're the ones that carry kind of these messages online in a viral way. They're the ones that do the outreach. They're the ones to tap into as a very potent group to talk about any one of a number of issues, and people trust them because they're one of them.
And so what are some of the strategies to reach them? Now, do you find that clients know they need to reach them but are just trying to figure out how?
Yeah, I think clients know that they're there. Word of mouth has been around forever, certainly a very powerful medium. Now it's done electronically. And so clients are aware, certainly, that these people are out there. I think how to find them is kind of the trick. You want to find the right group. You want to make sure and do some research. You know, talk to some of them, find out what they're writing. In many ways, it's kind of the PR traditional model from before that you want to read the columnist, you want to read the byline, you want to know what their agenda is so that when you talk to them, you can say, hey, look, I read your article the other day about financial services, or I read your article the other day about the environment, and I really liked what you said about this. And by the way, I have a client who has interests in some of that same kind of area. Would you be interested in talking to them? So it's much more casual. It's like we're kind of talking now. It says you might talk at a party. It's just that conversation that takes place, and that's the most effective way to reach out to them.
Now, Paul has a couple of firsts in podcasting history that I'll let him mention himself. First one involves government, where you did the first podcast for the Treasury Department, and the second's a bit closer to home. Why don't you tell us about that?
Great, thanks, Doug. Yeah, Treasury was an interesting example because Treasury really was faced with a series of issues that couldn't be overcome with traditional advertising. And yet Treasury didn't have budgets to do any kind of formal outreach, needed to do it, and so the idea of using social media became one that was considered. But it wasn't considered until we could kind of prove the concept might work. That proof of concept came very close to home, as you mentioned, Doug, via MommyCast. So MommyCast really began as a podcast to prove to Treasury that, in fact, if two moms in Northern Virginia could do a podcast, then certainly the Treasury Department ought to use one and reach out to its particular demographic, also hard to reach, just as moms are hard to reach. Well, to this day, MommyCast lives on. I don't think the Treasury Department is doing any more podcasts after I left about a year ago, but nonetheless, it proved to them that this medium could be powerful, that they could tap into tech-savvy, literate bond traders and then directly communicate with them, bypassing some of the more traditional media in the same way that MommyCast directly targets and attracts an audience of moms who are interested in knowing what other moms think about subjects such as entertainment or healthcare or back-to-school issues.
Now, one of the big questions organizations face when they go online with podcasts, videocasts, is do they really want to become the medium, the media themselves? That's what it's about. So what do you say to make them, I assume you encourage people to take that step. What do you say to them that convinces them?
Yeah, sure, Doug. I think, at Porter Novelli, we definitely want to encourage clients to participate. That level of participation runs the gamut. They can do their own podcast. They can do what the Dixie Paper Products Company does with MommyCast. They can sponsor a podcast. They can even take some of their existing content, and many organizations have great existing video. They have great existing audio files. They might have reports to analysts that have been recorded, and those can be repurposed and then offered on the net as kind of a baby step into this world of new media.
Excellent. And one thing, obviously, we know the effectiveness of video communications. What's the role of video in this entire situation?
I think video has the prominent place in any of these communication mediums. It gives us a chance to talk face-to-face with each other, and it gives us a chance to see the emotions that, while you get in an audio version, or you might get on paper with a well-written article, you don't get to see the personalization and the closeness that can take place with video. And I think you're starting to see that with broadband, taking root as it is, with mobile technology being what it is, that video is the direction. But we try to caution our clients that it can't just be a talking head. It has to be at a setting, it has to be at a conference, it has to have some relevance, it has to show something that makes people understand that that setting is valuable to them, not just the two people talking.
Great. And final thought, and if you forgive me, I'll put you on the spot a little bit here. Couple years from now, look into your crystal ball. What's going to be different? What are we going to be talking about a couple years from now?
I think we're already talking about some of that stuff. I think you're going to see that, I come from Washington, D.C., I think you're going to see that the political landscape is just going to become very flattened with this communication medium. That video allows all of us to see these politicians very up close and personal, and I think that's what we want as the electorate, and I think that's what they want. I think what we're also going to see, and we're already starting to see this, is the worldwide nature of podcasting and videocasting taking hold and just shrinking this world in a way that allows us to communicate about issues, in particular, again, I come from Washington, D.C., about issues that are global. And so you're starting to see mobilization of those efforts in big ways, and I think really the other big part of this is what you already alluded to and what we chatted about, and that is that video is just going to be an ever-increasing component.
Great. Thanks so much for being with us on the Video Blog.
Appreciate it.
Very nice to meet you.